Invite a Budget Blinds style consultant to show you how to transform your rooms just by changing your window coverings. Canada's #1 choice for window coverings. Visit budgetblinds.ca today.
This is Newcap News with Bart Pediasic.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Border City RCMP are asking the public to be on the lookout for 3 people wanted for various offenses and are featured all in this month's Lloydminster's Most Wanted. 27-year-old Dustin Joseph Scalarud is 6'1", 150 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. He is wanted for a number of charges, including failing to comply with probation, failing to appear in court, assault with a weapon, unlawfully living in a house, and driving an unregistered vehicle. Chelsea Valine St. Germain is 23 years old, 5'5", 135 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. She's wanted for mischief. And 23-year-old Cordelia Ann Short, she's wanted for failing to comply with probation twice. Short is 5'5", 106 pounds with reddish blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information on the whereabouts of any of these people, you're asked to call Lloydminster RCMP at 780-808-8400 or Crime Stoppers. Well, RCMP have charged 2 men after 2 privately owned horses were fatally shot this week in the county of St. Paul. Police say Tuesday around 8 at night, they got the call that the horses were shot in the LaFond area. 2 suspects, both from the county of St. Paul, were arrested in connection with the incident. 34-year-old Terrence McGongill and 54-year-old Michael LaRue are charged with possession of dangerous weapons, careless use of a firearm, and 2 counts of willfully killing cattle. An additional charge of unlawful possession of a firearm was laid against LaRue. Both have a court date set for October 1st. A former Canadian Forces employee has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for a theft that taken place at a Camp Wainwright. 40-year-old Patience Sangster was a civilian employee at the base for 14 years. Numerous thefts took place over the last 4 years of her employment. The thefts only stopped once Sangster left CFB Wainwright. After her departure, a lengthy investigation discovered hundreds of illegal transactions between June of 2009 and April of 2013. According to the court, she stole more than $82,000. She's been ordered to pay it all back as part of her sentencing. Well, it was a chance to meet with constituents and lay out their platforms for 2 area Conservative candidates. This is Jerry Ritz and Shannon Stubbs held a joint candidate meet and greet at the Lloydminster exhibition last night.
We are on the Saskatchewan side. I'd like to point that out. So welcome all you Albertans. We'll give you a day pass after the provincial mess you made.
Jerry Ritz helped MC the event as both candidates addressed potential voters in their prairie room. As an incumbent MP since 1997, Ritz says this election feels very different from elections of the past.
I think it feels different in that there's so much work that we need to complete as a government. And when I look at the polls and how tight it is, and even a minority government just could not get the work done that we need to do as a country.
Jerry Ritz's team reached out to Stubbs to organize this event earlier in the year as a chance for local voters to speak their minds about issues and learn about the Conservative platforms. According to Stubbs, having Ritz's support will go a long way during this campaign.
They've been very supportive and very welcoming, so it means a great deal to me to have that kind of support and the mentorship and advice that I will need in the long term if I am elected to represent Lakeland.
Voters head to the polls on October 19th. The Syrian migrant crisis has been a serious issue that many nations across the world are facing as thousands upon thousands of refugees seek refuge in a new country. As challenging as it may be for the countries involved, it's nothing compared to the suffering and hardship many people are faced on a daily basis, and not to mention the countless lives lost. As Chris Chacon reports, amid the crisis, one local church is working to make a difference by sponsoring a family and helping them find a new home in Canada.
Several years ago, civil war broke out in Syria as violent clashes erupted between the Assad regime and civilians. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad would not back down nor give up, and through all the attacks, rebel groups band together in the fight against the government and all their forces.
We were hearing explosion, see smokes, but never know where it is. Kids going to school, and you pray till they are back safe. panic and calling everyone to make sure they are fine after hearing explosion or shooting.
The identity of this man is being concealed for various reasons, but his accounts of what happened are something many people couldn't even think of having to go through.
Explosion and shooting all night. My wife and I looking at each other. How can we reach the airport tomorrow morning? What if anything happened to the kids? What if we get killed, kidnapped? Where are the fights? We don't know. We have no idea.
Fortunately, the man and his family were able to leave Syria unharmed. They are now in a refugee shelter living in harsh conditions, hoping to have a normal life one day. A voice in the Lloydminster community is taking a stand and has been working for months to help this family move to Canada in the hopes of giving them a new opportunity.
They've suffered bombings of their holy lands, attacks on their church, threats for believing what they believe in, and witnessed to a lot of their friends being killed for their beliefs.
A committee of families has united with the support of members of their church and are working to sponsor the family. They have raised $30,000 and are still working through all the government red tape.
The most difficult part of the job is to complete all of the paperwork, get all the government forms, get them in correctly.
The committee is hoping to wrap things up as soon as possible and are hoping to have the family arrive in the next few months. Lloydminster will be their new home, a place much safer where they will be able to start a new life with much more peace and happiness. Krisha Khan, Newcap News.